Everyone, Mike of WhiteBIT, and we're starting first of our series of interviews with our partners. So let's welcome Jonathan Boyd of Aurus, and we're doing a little interview with Jen and Aurus, so just to give you a little glimpse of what guys have in their pipeline coming up for this fall and 2021. So let me start with the first question. So Jonathan, could you give me a brief overview of what Aurus is about?
Yeah, Mike, thanks for having me today, firstly, and to the WhiteBIT team. So brief overview of what Horus is about. Very simply put, we're a UK limited company. We're headquartered there, and we provide tokenization as a service solution, to the traditional gold market. So we're in the business of tokenizing assets on the blockchain and in a decentralized manner. We've begun by working with gold and repositioning gold as a highly fractionable, portable, and accessible asset. So I think with the Horus protocol, established gold businesses can now independently tokenize, their own gold and deliver a new product to a much broader mass market, and that product will be in the form of Horus Gold. Where I think importantly to note is that each Horus Gold, or AWG, as the crypto community would know from a sort of a ticker or a symbol point of view, each AWG token is 100% backed and redeemable for 1 gram of physical gold. So we're enabling anyone around the world to easily buy, store, and trade, the most liquid form of gold, in our opinion.
Right. Okay. Yep. So how does the Aurus ecosystem work?
Good question. So, Mike, we've created a highly scalable system. Scale is obviously an issue with a lot of projects these days, and scalability. We've created a highly scalable system that is made up of gold providers, vaults, distribution partners, and they all use our technology to produce and distribute a decentralized gold-backed token, as we mentioned, Horus Gold. So, that's now given them the ability to tap into a previously underserved market and a new market. The platform's revenue sharing model, I believe, it really encourages and incentivizes these traditional gold market players to participate in the ecosystem. Very simply put, money talks at the end of the day. These gold providers and vaults receive 30% of the revenue that is generated through Horus Gold. So it's creating a self-sustaining system, and it's designed to be completely independent from Horus technologies as well. And these gold providers and vaulting partners of the ecosystem are earning a passive, revenue stream and a passive income stream, which, is fantastic to add to anyone's book. So I think just to close off on there, on the ecosystem, importantly, we are not involved in the tokenization process. We never touch the gold. We can never touch the gold. Therefore, you don't need to trust Horus in order to trust Horus Gold. And the ecosystem was designed specifically in that manner for it to be trustless. So that's just very important to note.
Yeah, I just want to make a remark out here that me personally, I love the concept behind Horus, and in general, the gold trading markets, they have, let's say, like high onboarding barriers, and crypto has very low onboarding barriers. So you can just buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other cryptocurrency using your credit card, and then just buy Horus, and there you go, you're trading gold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So. Very good points. It's breaking down the barriers for, I hate to use sort of these kinds of words, but for the average Joe and for the normal person in the street, to go and access an asset class that traditionally was not available and not very easily accessible. So I completely 100% agree with you there.
Yeah, and especially you have countries like Ukraine, for instance, where we don't have stock markets, and the barriers for the stock markets are really, really high, and that's why crypto find a lot of adoption in such countries. Ukraine can be a good example because we don't have a stock market, but we have a lot of people just obtain crypto during the bull run of 2017, and right now just a lot of people found themselves, investing in crypto and building their financial freedom through crypto. So just breaking down the barriers for the gold trade market.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Key word there, financial freedom, isn't it? And any way we can add to that. Now and going forwards, is just going to build a much more inclusive and open ecosystem for everyone to thrive. Where I feel nowadays it's rather reserved for the few and the 1%, as they refer to. So we're all about opening up those barriers and breaking down those barriers.
That's what crypto was meant for, right?
Yeah.
So let me hop on to the next question. So Jonathan, what's so special about a gold-backed token such as AWG? What problems can it solve?
Yeah, I think for me specifically, and I think I know that the whole Horus team will echo my sentiment here, is the most special part of Horus Gold is we can help, and I think we touched on it earlier, we can help a huge amount of people around the world. Number one, to secure a brighter financial future, and by simplifying access to an asset like gold. And gold has got some very unique characteristics and some special characteristics, namely being scarcity. It's spoken about a lot. Scarcity drives value. It's a great store of value, or store of wealth, if you want to refer to it that way. Unit of account, which is quite clear. However, gold does struggle with transferability and divisibility. Being able to break it down into smaller amounts to initiate transactions of certain values, and as a medium of exchange. Not everyone's just going to go around with big chunks of gold and bars and that. It's quite difficult practically. So if you look at it, and to come back to the question, what's so special about a gold-backed token like Horus Gold? Well, it solves this, and it solves those issues of transferability and divisibility and being a medium of exchange, and improves gold's characteristics overall. It makes it transferable, divisible, and now liquid too, to be used in other markets and across other trading pairs too. So to summarize there, I think we're striving to make Horus Gold the easiest way to invest in gold now, and in the future it could be it could morph into many other things, and we're democratizing gold, making it very easily and accessible. Another special thing about it is you can accumulate in small amounts. So if you want to refer to it as micro accumulation, so allowing people to buy small amounts of gold on regular occasions, and add that to their portfolio. It makes potentially, as I mentioned, in the future, what it may morph into being a possible means of payment, a non-government controlled, stable digital currency. Everyone's looking at less control, less centralized control. Remittance, Africa specifically, all around the world, developing economies and markets. Remittance is a huge market that is extremely expensive, and the cost to I guess people who generally can't really afford to cover all these high costs, and no one should have to. But bringing these costs down and being able to remit for payment wise, I see as a big opportunity and a big problem that we can solve from a cross-border payment perspective as well. Highly volatile currencies. You look at the rand in South Africa, where I come from, and the lira in Turkey, for example. I mean, there's huge volatility in these currencies, and if you're able to accumulate gold, you're storing your value and your wealth so much easier. So to summarize there again, I think we're putting, what I like to say is we're putting the power back in the hands of the people, by giving them easy access to buying, owning, and sending gold from small amounts, digitally, and all within their own control.
So it's like best of the both worlds combined, right? It's the benefits of tokenization now and e-money, cryptocurrency, and just gold as classical, as classical financial instrument.
Exactly that. Yeah, a classic, that marriage of classic financial instrument or asset class and, which, married then with the benefits of, as you say, tokenization and blockchain technology to create a superior, product.
So it's fundamentals plus the technology.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, so on to the next question. So there are many other gold-backed token projects out there. How is Aurus different?
Yeah, well, firstly, I think I'd be surprised if there wasn't competition out there, as there is market fit, and we welcome competition. Number one, and in my experience, competition is good as it does show market fit. More importantly, it drives innovation, adoption, two very key words in our space, as well as the ability to learn from your competitors' mistakes. Those that come before you and potentially have their own shortcomings. So, we look at everything as an opportunity, and I think learning from your competitors is critical to a project's success. I think touching on our team, our project and our gold-backed token, our team has a very strong financial background. I have a very traditional financial background as well, from an advisory with high net worth clients for many years, and I think in previous discussions we've discussed that as well. Our MD, serious experience in the precious metals industry, head of development also from a fixed income trading perspective, and then we marry that with our technology team and our CTO, who obviously provides the the tech side of things. So we're a great mix of traditional financial background, where we just discussed earlier, marrying that with the traditional financial industry in the form of the gold market, with the future of finance, in my opinion, in blockchain and cryptocurrency technology. But we're not just creating a gold-backed token. That's not a very sexy thing, let's be honest. But what we are creating is an open-ended system, that the entire gold market can participate in, and and benefit from. Exactly. I was just gonna touch on that as well. I think anyone can, not anybody, anyone can really, create a gold-backed token. But I think what separates us is that we are creating this open-ended system that the whole gold market can tap into. We want to work with the gold industry as opposed to compete with them. So I think that's a big reason why we are different. It creates sustainability, ESG. It's going to be on every single investor's mind. It's key now. It's going to have to be a box that everyone ticks. So sustainability in anything that you do going forwards now, with more and more people on the planet, less space, less resources, is going to be crucial. And we create sustainability through what, as you said, through the fee structure of the ecosystem. The revenue system is mentioned. It allows these gold providers to earn a passive income stream. It incentivizes them to take part in our ecosystem. We're not fighting against them. We're working with them. We're giving them another avenue to sell to their clients, talk to their clients. It allows them, as I say, who doesn't want to earn a passive, revenue stream from the business you're already doing? Let's just tap into the Horus protocol, and that's possible. Coming back to how we're sort of different again, looking at competitors, I don't like to talk too much about competitors, to be honest, because I think it draws back from how good we are at what we do. But a lot of them we found have more of a centralized nature and centralized approach, centralized vaulting, control in the minting process. Let's be honest, blockchain is all about decentralization. It's a decentralized distributed ledger system, isn't it? So, the more decentralized you can be, the better. So, we're very different in that regard. Our network is, decentralized networks of distributors, vaults, and providers, as we've discussed. And, the power is in decentralization. The less control in one and single point of, failure risk, the better. So, yeah, there's a couple of points where I think, that we differentiate ourselves, and working with the system, working with the gold market as opposed to, working against them.
So to sum it up, what makes you stand out from the competition? First is the revenue sharing model, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Second one.
Carry on, sorry.
Yeah. I was asking, so the first, what makes you stand out from the competition is the revenue sharing model. So what's the second point? Just to sum it up.
Revenue sharing model, incentivizing, the providers, distributors, and vaults to take part in the system, earn a passive income stream, which creates a sustainable ecosystem. And secondly is the decentralized nature of our network. With having all of these providers, vaults, and distributors globally, as opposed to centralizing those in one location. So that reduces the risk overall.
Okay. Nice. So on to the next question. What headwinds are you expecting, if any, and how do you plan to overcome these?
Yeah, good question. Being in the cryptocurrency,
we had a similar question. And our aim is so before, but we can do it once again.
That Guido answered. I'll try to live up to his standards. Regulation, is always changing, right? It's a super dynamic space that we work in and we find ourselves in, which is exciting, which is why I'm here. I love it.
Yeah, and the regulatory space is relatively young for the cryptocurrencies. We're just at the beginning.
We are
talking about the G20 stablecoin initiative, etc. So
yeah, which is great, and to be honest with you, as Horus, we welcome regulatory oversight. We welcome that to the industry because it's going to mature things. Okay, a lot of the pure crypto guys would probably disagree with me there. But they also need to realize, though, that for crypto to survive, we need to find a middle ground, with the traditional financial system as well.
You won't see mass adoption without regulations, for sure. Like we won't see
exactly
that.
Exactly, it goes hand in hand. So all in moderation, and which is fair. I think everything that needs to be done fairly and with the right people at the table. But it's always going to change. So the way we've always approached it is that from a regulatory point of view, rather than creating a product and then trying to fit in with regulations, we looked at regulations and said, okay, how can we be in line with regulations? Because we're dealing with a traditional financial industry in the gold market, and marrying that with the future of finances with the blockchain technology. So let's make sure we are in line with regulations from the start. It's going to cause less hurdles for us as we go forwards, and will allow us to progress a lot quicker. So I think working with the regulators is key. Those are going to be headwinds for anyone, and if you don't realize that, then I think it's going to be more of a headwind for you. We've worked specifically with the number one blockchain legal firm in the UK to get an opinion on Horus Gold. That opinion, from the start, it did pass the FCA sandbox mode, and as a result, we are now pending process of registration, with the FCA in the UK, to be sort of crypto AML CTF compliant is sort of the technical terminology, and it means we as a company will comply, with the regulatory industry standards, and we hope that brings some comfort to future distributors, future providers, future vaulting partners, to to take up the Horus protocol and to, open up these conversations with us. We ensure the proper KYC and AML is done, through all of our partners as well. So we look to maintain very, very high standards when it comes to that. So yeah, from a regulatory point of view, there could be some headwinds, but that's how I feel we will and have overcome these in the past. But lots of work still to be done. One of the main things, from a headwind point of view, is education, in my opinion. Educating people about the future of blockchain technology, of cryptocurrency. Some people might see it as a bit of a swear word at times, and I think that's just because we're so used to and set in our ways. So to me, I educate people on a daily basis. Every day I'm on the phone, every day I'm speaking to someone or clients or partners. You're educating someone, keeping things simple. And that's how we can increase adoption in the space that we're working in. Also, a lot of the perceived negative news that normally would have shaken markets and moved markets a hell of a lot, not necessarily seeming to make a lot of noise now. An exchange we won't mention, but from a derivatives point of view, they didn't really even move the market. So it shows the maturity that I see, happening, and more of the positives are now being focused on. You can see this through, the recent investments of, Michael Saylor at MicroStrategy, listed company putting, I think the figure was something like now is in 2 tranches, about, $500 million into Bitcoin, which is great. It's great for the overall, marketplace. Square and Cash App, Jack Dorsey of Twitter background, he just put $50 million in as well. This is their, cash holding strategy. This is fantastic. It's phenomenal. There's another big, asset management firm. I know I can't think of the name now, but I think it was just a couple of days ago, put in, quite a big chunk of their cash on their balance sheet into Bitcoin.
And it was roughly 1%. It was like 50 million, but they invested it was roughly 1% of the funds that they have.
Yeah.
So I was just looking at the Bitcoin graph this morning, and I was thinking that we were trading in a channel between $10,000 and $11,000. I was thinking, what a journey we went from 2017. Where you could have seen like Bitcoin at $3,000 and then $7,000 and back to $4,000, and right now we're just in that channel, plus minus $500, average. So and it's a sign that the industry is maturing up,
it is
becoming more stable. And Bitcoin from a certain point, if you look back even at the Black Thursday this spring at March. During the March March
crash.
Sort of crash. Bitcoin, it was behaving in a good way that it dropped, but then it grew back, and you can even think of Bitcoin right now as a store of value. You couldn't have think that before.
No, and you wouldn't have these firms doing what they're doing with investor and shareholder money. They got people to answer to. They wouldn't be doing that, unless they, had serious conviction in their decision making. So, that maturity is great to see in the market. I mean, banking license awarded to Kraken as well. This is another big, sorry, talking about another, exchange, but it's big news. It's big news in the market. And I think we digress, and we can probably go on for a while here. But, from a headwind point of view, I just wanted to see how, there's a lot more positive that I'm noticing than negative, which I think is great for the industry as a whole. And just to sum that up, people always said that, Bitcoin is the new digital gold, and can be seen as digital gold. And that's kind of the way I explained it in the early days too, from a simple analogy point of view. But my opinion is, well, why can't Bitcoin just be Bitcoin, and digital gold can be digital gold in the form of Horus Gold?
Exactly. Let Bitcoin be Bitcoin.
Let it be Bitcoin. Okay. Exactly.
So on to the next one. So How does Aurus ensure the price of AWG tracks the price of gold in a free market?
Yeah, so a very simple answer here. And firstly, just to be clear, Horus is completely independent of the tokenization and minting process, as mentioned earlier. The market ensures that the price remains stable, as exchanges, will follow the London local gold price. And very simply put, and as previously mentioned, each token is backed by 1 gram of physical gold. Yeah, that's the simple answer.
As simple as that. So to the next one. What kind of fees are associated with using AWG?
Again, another simple answer there for you, Mike, as we have digressed on a few others. But yeah, the fees for the user using AWG will be 0.15%. You want to figure to transact, and from an annual storage point of view, 0.4% per annum for KYC'd accounts, which we feel is very competitive. If you're doing anything with normal gold, and that it's can be anywhere up to 2%. So yeah, very competitive fee structure. And as we touched on earlier there as well is, if you look at use cases from a remittance perspective, that can be anywhere from 6 to 30%. It's criminal what they're charging just to send money, from country to country. So we see a big use case there. But then, to come back to the sustainability of the system and the revenue structure that, as we've discussed, these fees are important to incentivize, all the participants in the Horus ecosystem, which I think is great, and leads to a success of the project overall.
Okay, thank you. And we have a couple of questions left. So here's one of them. Aurus has a second token, Horus Coin AWX. What's the purpose behind it?
Yeah. Okay. So good question there. One of my favorite topics, actually. So yeah, AWX is Horus Coin, Horus Coin or AWX. It is our secondary token. How it works really is, well, a couple of things about it. It's limited to 30 million tokens pre-mined, so the scarcity is there as well. And the way it works is, Horus Coin, I like to explain it like this, Mike, to keep it simple. Like a share in a company. So it works like a share in a company, a share in Horus, and allows an investor or an individual to take part in the success of Horus as a whole. So like any shareholder or any investor into a share of a company, you're entitled to some of the revenue generated by that company in the form of a dividend. Now, quite the same with AWX. So holders of AWX receive 70% of the revenue generated from the Horus Gold ecosystem in the form of gold, Horus Gold, paid to them and automatically accumulated to their AWX. So, it's a fantastic way to take part in the success of the Horus ecosystem, and it receives a great revenue paid in gold to it. It also is a fundraising mechanism for us, or a capital raising mechanism for us, and has really helped us to grow the company from a couple of years back, on our own accord, and. As I say, a great way for investors, specifically from a crypto point of view, looking at that future growth and being able to invest into the project. Maybe they're not too interested in gold; it is quite stable, but that's great. We need that in the marketplace. AWX might be a better option for a lot of your users as well to look at. Which is now obviously listed with WhiteBIT along with AWG, and yeah, the guys can go and buy that on WhiteBIT quite easily.
Okay, thank you. And on to the last question. So what is your strategy for expansion of the Horus ecosystem, and what do you hope to accomplish in 2021?
Yeah, so wow, 2020, yeah, what a great what a crazy time.
What a crazy time to be alive.
Yeah, crazy time to be alive. I guess we've got to be grateful though. Always look at tough times, and I'm just grateful for 2 arms, 2 legs, and we're still alive and kicking. So, but most people would be happy to see the back of 2020. Let's be honest. But we see this as a great opportunity. The decentralization story is just getting stronger and stronger. I mean, the central bank. I think that I don't even think you can call that graph parabolic anymore. I think it's inverted. The central bank is just printing unprecedented amounts of dollars.
Something like 20% of all of the dollars were printed in 2020.
It's a lot of 20s, man. Yeah, obviously no 2020 vision there. But I mean, it just feeds the narrative more and more, So, in times of strife, there's always opportunity, and in times of struggle, there's always opportunity. And
for sure,
to see that and take the positive out of it, it's the way we here at Horus look at it. But what do we want to accomplish? Well, we want to grow the global ecosystem. We don't just rely on centralized points or single partners. We want to grow the global ecosystem. More distributors, more vaults around the world. It allows all our users, our AWG users, to have gold that's vaulted, close to their own locations, at least as close to their own locations as possible. If they ever wanted to redeem, their AWG for their gold. And, we're busy, with talks with partners in Australia, with partners in South America, very close to closing off a deal there. South Africa as well, which will be the hub will grow into Africa. Africa will be a big growth story for us, with some serious investors in South Africa. So, at the moment we have gold vaulted in London, in Zurich. So put all of those together. From a Europe point of view, from a UK point of view, South America, Australia, Africa. We're in talks with parties in Canada as well. So, just really growing the network, growing the decentralized network partners and distributors and users, which will, just make us so much stronger, going forwards. Where we're at now, moving into that scale-up phase, it's a proof of concept's done. We're a working project, and we're operating. We've got real users. We have real distributors. We've got real gold in the blockchain. Real gold in vaults around the world. We're working with the gold community, working with the gold market. We invite anyone to have a conversation with us. Come and talk to us. Let us show you how we can add value to your business, your existing business. Open up new markets for you. We want more trading pairs. The right trading pairs. And we can rely on partners like you guys, at WhiteBIT to advise us in that front and use your expertise there. Let's work together. Let's do more of these sessions. And I think to close off, and thanks for your time, I appreciate that. Always good to catch up with you. But at the moment we're also looking at getting funding to accelerate the expansion of the ecosystem. We've done it all ourselves up until now. So I think that's a feather in our cap. We're very proud of that. But we're looking at strategic partners, so we can expand this ecosystem. So anyone, who's, listening and, looking for that opportunity, let's have a chat. I'm sure you're going to share our details and how to get hold of us on our, Telegram and on our Twitter and all the relevant channels out there. So, onwards and upwards.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for your time. Love the concept behind Horus. Love the project. Love the Horus black card. if it's around. You can show it to the camera, but absolutely love the design.
Yeah. Yeah, let me get
Yeah,
my
so-
let me get mine out. And I actually didn't even talk about the card and the app and the developments there.
Yeah, we're saying a couple of words about it actually, because
Here's our card. Yeah, very slick, nice, cool. Horus card. You can hold your AWG on that. You can interact with your with your Horus app, which is now available on the App Store for iOS and for Android. So simple. You literally scan your card under the NFC technology behind your iPhone or Samsung, whatever you're using, and it shows you your value of your gold, of your AWG. You can extract it. You can send it to another wallet. You can send it. In future, we hope that we'll be able to pay with this all around the world as well, as we grow our partner network and retail network. So watch the space. Get your card. You can go on our website, get a card, order some gold, get that delivered to you. Yeah, work with the app and show your friends you got some gold in your pocket.
yeah, that's the way to store gold in 2020. You can store a kilo of gold just small as that.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to say they got a kilo of gold in their pocket?
Literally.
Literally. I don't know if I'd walk around too much with it in my pocket, but yeah, you can do it nonetheless.
Okay. So once again, Janet, it was a pleasure talking to you. It was a pleasure to have Aurus once again here at our translation, our YouTube channel. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you for hopping in. Yep.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much.